Alright guys, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm low-key a Hunter x Hunter pro because I read this series so many times. It's one of my favorite series. So today I'm gonna tell you guys which arcs are the ones that put it up there in that top series status for me. And which arcs are just meh. I really don't think that Hunter x Hunter has any truly bad arcs, but there are definitely some arcs that stand above others. So sit down and let me break down my personal ranking of every single Hunter x Hunter arc. At the last spot, we got the Zoldyck family arc. Not exactly a bad arc or anything, but it just doesn't bring much. There's no amazing moments in it, there's no proper fights or anything like that in it. It's just kind of a pit stop to grab Killua before the gang splits off to go on their own adventures before York New City. A little extra training for Kurapika, Leorio, and Gon was cool, and the Zoldyck family has a lot of cool characters who get introduced in this arc. So it's not a bad arc exactly, just nothing special. Next, we got the Dark Continent Expedition arc, which has not been adapted into the anime yet. Similarly to the Zoldyck family arc, this one also feels like just a transition arc to get to the more meaty Succession War arc, which is going on right now. If I'm being honest, I wasn't even sure if I would include this arc at all, because it's so short and all that, but I was like, screw it, I might as well put it in if I'm gonna also include the Zoldyck family arc. I put this arc above the Zoldyck family arc because this one has Beyond Netero, who is so interesting to me. I genuinely cannot wait to see more of him in later arcs, and hopefully Togashi's health is good though, because I don't want him pushing himself to draw and write when he's in pain. So hopefully he gets healthy enough so he can keep making the series more and we can get to the Dark Continent itself. Next, we got a bit of a hot take with the 13th Hunter Chairman election arc. If I'm being honest, I didn't love the part. It introduced so many important characters such as the Zodiacs, which included super crazy people like Peristing and Jing himself, who we've been chasing the whole series. The problem is that the arc itself, it just wasn't the most interesting to me. This arc, it wasn't long, but I feel like it could have been a little shorter, just for one election thing. And on top of that, there's no pure, proper main villain of the arc creating consistent pressure on the situation. Illumi and Hisoka were causing a ruckus, and Periston was a little rascal himself, but there's no real menace that we're constantly worried about in this arc. Not a bad arc, but definitely not my favorite. Next, we got the Heaven's Arena arc, and the best thing about this arc is it introduces Nen, because oh my god, Nen is so good, bro. Easily my favorite power system in any series. So the work that this arc puts in to introduce us to Nen is so cool to see. It was also nice to see Killua and Gon grow a lot in this arc, with them learning Nen and fighting in the Heaven's Arena. There were some good standout fights in this arc too, with Hisoka versus Gon being the obvious one, because it was so hyped up, had such good choreography, and the punch from Gon right to Hisoka's face was so satisfying to see. We had been waiting for that for so long. I also really loved the Castro versus Hisoka fight in this arc, because watching Hisoka mid-fight, he reattaches his severed arm and then sends a different severed arm right into Castro's chin was so insane. I was so mind blown watching the fight, because how is any of this even possible, especially before you fully understand Nen. So it made this fight also really stand out to me. Overall, a decent arc. Real quick, I'm shouting out someone from the comments every video, so shout out to Rohan Kashal 9260. Oh yeah, shout out to him. Alright, back to the video. Next, we got the Hunter exam. I do feel like there are a lot of people who would put the Hunter exam a bit higher with how great of a first arc it is, and I still think it's amazing. I just feel like the arcs that I have above the Hunter exam are a bit better in all their unique ways, which I'll explain when I get to them. It's so fun to see the Killua, Gon, Leorio, and Kurapika squad together in this arc, since that's not something we get to see often. There's a lot of great moments and fights for all of these characters that let us understand more about them and start to like the main four early on in the series. Killua had that great moment where he steals the heart of the serial killer prisoner which was just so cold, bruh. Kurapika has a great moment of him beating up that weird blue guy who's pretending to be a member of the Phantom Troop. Gon has a great characterization moment of him not backing down against Hanzo in an unwinnable fight. Leorio, he does some stuff. The Hunter exam phases were all really fun and creative, especially with the one where people were hunting and trying to steal each other's badges. Just a really good arc overall. Next, I got an arc that I see people disrespect a lot, and that is Greed Island. I feel like people disrespect Greed Island because they expect too much. Greed Island had been teased and built up a bit throughout York New City, so we expect a masterpiece, especially since we're coming off of York New City, which is such a good arc. Like, oh my god, it's so good. Greed Island just isn't at that level of greatness, which is why people rank it low, I feel like. But people gotta realize, it's still a crazy good arc. The cards and book system with all the different items and spells is so creative and well thought out. It could genuinely be the system for an entire standalone manga series, which how much care is put into it. Like, the Greed Island environment is more thought out than most other series' entire settings all added up, which is insane. Biscuit is a cool mentor to Gon and Killua in this arc, and the villain, he's decent. Genthru, I feel like he seems lame because he's between the arc with Chrollo and the arc with Meruem. Like, how are you gonna compete against that? But honestly, he's not that bad of a villain, especially after rereading, because when you reread with some level expectations, you see like he's still a strong, cunning, kinda insane in the head character, so he's still a decent villain. And it makes the arc, it's just a very solid arc. Next, we got the currently going on arc, which is the Succession War. A lot of people hate this arc, and I'm not gonna lie, I do not blame them. Like, the walls of text are just absurd sometimes, and I understand that. But for me, I just love this arc. The amount of thinking and strategy and everything that goes behind every single action in this arc makes it so interesting, and the amount of characters makes this arc feel so ambitious and exciting. There's so many interesting princes in the arc, the troop being involved, the mafia type groups, Kurapika getting a dope leading role again. Such a fire arc so far, and I personally love the amount of text for the most part, because that is what allows this arc to have so much depth and thinking behind it. Next, we got York New City in the 2 spot. I think all of you knew that it would be top 2, and a lot of people understandably have it as their top 1. The Phantom Troop are maybe the best villain group in all of anime, so they make this arc so interesting. Kurapika is such an interesting character in this arc because he's like split between his drive for a bloody revenge and his inner kind-hearted personality. A lot of the greatest moments in all of fiction too, with the Requiem for Uvagin, all of the dope fights involving the troop, and the hostage negotiation which ended in the super sad death of Pakunoda. This arc was a masterpiece of writing, but it's just barely under the top 1 arc, which I consider as the greatest arc in all of anime, the Chimera Ant arc. If I had to say any problem, it would be that the first half has some small pacing problems, but the second half is literally a masterpiece. The first half is still great though, and in the manga, the pacing is much better, but oh my god, after Meruem is born, this arc is so good. Meruem is such a fantastic villain with his split between humans and ants, and the way his relationship with Komugi develops is so fire. I swear, Meruem's death was so sad that like for real made me cry, bruh. There's so much to talk about in this arc. I probably gotta make a whole other video just to talk about what makes it so good. But like, Royal Guards, they're all so great. The hunters like Netero, Knuckle and Shoot are so great. The writing with Gon is so great. Just everything is literally masterclass writing. Top 1 arc in Hunter x Hunter, and maybe in all of fiction for me. It's just so insanely good. Alright, thanks for watching, and consider subscribing if you're down, because I'm trying to get monetized. Alright, bye.